You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, abortion rights in Missouri could be determined by voters.
And the Carthage Library will temporarily close as a new HVAC system is installed.
And it is a cloudy and cold start for us across the 4 states, and we've got rain chances building in tomorrow. We'll take a look at that full forecast coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The Missouri Senate adjourned for its spring break early after lengthy debate about a bill banning gender-affirming care for minors. The legislation is called the Missouri Save Adolescents from Experimentation, or SAFE Act. Now, if passed, it would ban certain procedures such as puberty blockers and hormone therapy for transgender Missourians under the age of 18. Similar bills have been filed in both Missouri chambers before. Now, Senate Democrats have been filibustering the bill for the past 2 days. Negotiations have been ongoing, but a deal was not reached before they adjourned. Missouri voters could decide whether to restore abortion rights in the state, and the issue could go to a vote if constitutional amendments made public on Thursday make it to the 2024 ballot. The proposals would amend Missouri's constitution to protect abortion rights as well as access to birth control. Currently, most abortions are outlawed in the state. There are exceptions for medical emergencies, but not for cases of rape or incest. City of Coffeyville terminates Fire Chief Kenny Ward. Coffeyville City Manager Mark Hill terminated Fire Chief Ward after disagreements on funding Coffeyville's hazmat team. Now, according to the local union, Local 265 Firefighters Union, City Manager Hill refused to pay firefighters on the hazmat response team. Local 265 posted a statement on its social media declaring the union unanimously has no confidence in City Manager Hill.
Obviously, I mean, we would love to have Chief Ward back. Whether that's going to happen is probably slim to none. We understand that.
KOAM's Amber Jenkins reached out to the city manager for an interview, but was declined. The Carthage Public Library will temporarily close beginning Monday as crews finish installation of a new HVAC system. The library expects the closure to last 3 or 4 days. Now, the book drop will also be closed. There will not be any fines for overdue materials, don't worry, during that time.
And we are watching the possibility of some showers and thunderstorms as we head into our Saturday. It's not Thursday, now we're going back in time. We could see a stray strong storm or two in our southern counties in that dark green area. It's a highly unlikely possibility, but we could see a stray strong storm or two, and if we do, we're talking maybe some small hail and gusty winds. Otherwise, just isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms tomorrow. Today, we are mostly cloudy, and we're going to stay fairly cool. By about 6 a.m., that's when we start to see these showers kick into the area, and we'll see more of them by 8, and again, a couple of rumbles of thunder are possible. We'll continue to see breaks and then redevelopment of showers and maybe a thunderstorm or two as we head into the evening. And then later in the evening, that's when we'll start to see some of those storms in the southern counties. But as you see, they get out of here pretty quickly. And of course, we do want to take time to remind you, you got to spring forward on Sunday. Make sure you set your clocks ahead by 1 hour. MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line. You can see it is cloudy out there. And same view at 7th and Range Line. Cold too, 36 in Joplin. Feels like 28 with a north breeze at about 10 miles an hour, and it's cold across the area. 35 Iola, Pittsburgh, 39 Chetopa, Miami, 36 Neosho, at 35 Carthage and Lamar. And as we get our day started, once again, cloudy, cold, temperatures in the 30s, warming, if you can call it that, into the upper 30s by late morning. And as we get our day started, we're looking at highs averaging about the mid to upper 40s, but if you see a little more sunshine today, you could make it into the lower 50s. We're otherwise mostly cloudy to just plain old cloudy as we head into our afternoon. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Newly released police body cam video implicates a former Tulsa police officer in a first-degree rape investigation. Prosecutors say the officer's own body camera recording sheds light on the moments leading up to the alleged crime. Scott Martin examines the video.
It's a pretty dog. What kind of dog is that?
Body camera video shows what starts as small talk later turn into a rape investigation involving now former Tulsa police officer D'Angelo Reyes.
Oh, she ready to go to work with me?
I don't know about all that.
Police say the encounter happened in April 2022 when Reyes had just left a call and was looking for a suspect.
Have you seen a lady in like a yellow hoodie running around here? Looked like she was upset.
No.
In the video, you hear Reyes ask the woman what her name is. You then hear him give her a fake name.
I'm Eric. You're sexy. Is that unprofessional of me? I don't know. I'm sorry.
Then Reyes asks what she'll be doing later and where he can find her.
You got a room? Okay.
It's me and my dog Philly.
Oh, really?
The video then shows Reyes reach up and turn off his body cam. That's when police say he used his department-issued computer to access information on the victim. An affidavit says he drove to the hotel where the woman was staying, approached her, telling her it wouldn't take much to put a person with her record back in prison.
Reyes resigned from the Tulsa police force in June. He has pleaded not guilty to first-degree rape. Reyes is due back in court in May. Up next, the WHO urges countries around the world to help cut citizens' salt intake.
And later, a woman who just wanted Delta to replace her suitcase winds up with 13. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
In Health Watch this morning, the World Health Organization is urging countries to cut the salt. The WHO is calling for countries to adopt sodium reduction policies to improve global health. Now, sodium is an essential nutrient, but the WHO warns that eating too much of it can increase risk of heart disease, stroke, and even premature death. The organization aims for its member countries to reduce sodium intake by 30% by the year 2025, but many are falling short. The WHO estimates global average salt intake is above 10 grams a day, and that's more than double the daily recommended amount. Right now, the U.S. has only one mandatory sodium policy in addition to labeling sodium on prepackaged food, earning it a 3 out of 4 on the WHO's sodium scorecard, indicating there is still work to do to live up to global standards. Well, only 9 countries, including Brazil, Mexico, and Saudi Arabia, scored a 4, meaning they have more comprehensive sodium reduction policies. A new study suggests people who eat plant-based Mediterranean type of diets have fewer signs of Alzheimer's in their brain tissue. One such diet is called the MIND diet. MIND stands for Mediterranean Dash Intervention for Neurodegenerative Delay. Now, that's a mouthful, but a healthy one that's also good for your brain. The hallmark physiological signs of Alzheimer's are sticky plaques and tangled up proteins in brain tissue. The study examined the brain tissue of more than 500 people who donated their bodies for scientific research, found those who had closely followed the Mediterranean or MIND diet had much lower odds of having enough plaques and tangles in brain tissue to have an Alzheimer's diagnosis. To follow the MIND diet, eat 3 daily servings of whole grains, at least 1 dark green salad, and 1 other vegetable each day, and 1 daily serving of nuts, beans, or legumes every other day. Berries and poultry at least twice a week, and fish at least once a week. Well, it's a scary diagnosis that can halt an athlete's sports career, but most of those who play sports have genetic heart disease. Can still play ball. And that's according to an early study. Mandy Gaither has more on the research and why the study's senior author says with diagnosis and treatment, elite athletes can often continue with the sport they love.
The reports are rare but alarming. Elite athletes experiencing heart problems or even suddenly collapsing during games.
The notion has been out there for 3 decades plus that unless your heart is perfect, no sport's for you.
Mayo Clinic cardiologist Michael Ackerman says athletes with diagnosed genetic heart conditions should not be automatically disqualified due to their health conditions.
If you have a diagnosed heart condition that has been evaluated, carefully evaluated, well treated, and you have been counseled in the approach of shared decision making, that you can return to what you love.
Ackerman's senior author of a study that hasn't yet been published in a peer-reviewed journal, but for an average of 7 years, researchers followed dozens of elite athletes from a variety of Division I and professional sports. All had a diagnosed genetic heart condition and were cleared for return to play. Of the 76 studied, 3 had cardiac events after being diagnosed and treated, either fainting or a shock from an implanted defibrillator. None of the athletes died, and most continued their sports career with no heart-related events.
It's a great message of hope and empowerment that it's now partly in your court.
Ackerman says athletes should know their story, speak up if there are concerning symptoms like suddenly fainting, and know your family history. Are there warning signs or unexplained deaths? Then work with your healthcare team to decide if continuing sports is right for you.
Most of the athletes in the study were initially disqualified from competing by their primary provider or institution after their diagnosis. Most ultimately opted to return to play with no restrictions after undergoing comprehensive clinical evaluations and talking with their doctors.
Well, it's cloudy, it's cold, and we have got rain on the way as we head into our Saturday. We'll take a look at your full forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We are watching showers and thunderstorms for tomorrow. They'll start developing around 6 o'clock in southeast Kansas and become a little more widespread as we head through about 8 or so. And we could see a rumble of thunder or two with some of these storms. And we'll get little breaks, and we'll see additional development as we head into the late afternoon, early evening hours. And again, another rumble of thunder or two possible. Then we could see thunderstorms down in our southern counties later in the evening, but they'll get out of here quickly. And then we'll be left with the possibility of a few stray showers very early Sunday morning before those eventually clear out of here. And of course, on Sunday morning, it's also time to spring forward. Need to set your clocks ahead 1 hour and change the batteries in your smoke detectors. However, some good news is the sun will rise a little later, so that's not necessarily good news, but it will also stay out a little bit later too. But we got to get rid of these clouds in order to see the sunshine and be able to enjoy that. And we are cloudy at 20th and Rangeline on the MoDOT camera there. Same at 7th and Rangeline. 36 in Joplin, feel like 28 degrees with a north breeze at 10 miles an hour. A very cold start for all of us. 34 Fort Scott, Nevada, 35 Pittsburgh, Lamar, 39 Chatopa, Miami, and 36 Neosho and Monette. As we get our day started, again, we will be cloudy and we will be cold. We'll eventually rise into the upper 30s by late morning. Then we'll switch to mostly cloudy to cloudy skies. So if you see a little more sunshine today, your highs could actually breach into the lower 50s. But on average, the majority of us are going to see highs mid to upper 40s across the area. As we head into this evening, a little bit more sky visible. We'll be mostly cloudy and cold again, dropping back down to 38 for our overnight low. Got those showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, 54, 51 on Sunday. Cold Sunday night down to 29, only 46 on Monday, and 26 for the low. A little warmer Tuesday, 54. More winds on Wednesday, how appropriate. But we're also warmer, near 70 degrees on Wednesday. And then we get cold again. Look at Thursday, only in the upper 40s, maybe some rain chances by St. Patrick's Day. That could translate into a light wintry mix in the morning. And it was only 41 degrees. Then down to 28 Friday night. And as we head into the weekend, look at that. No improvements. We stay in the lower to mid 40s. Look, it's the first day of spring. We're going to kick off that day at about 23 degrees and only make it up to 42. So not very spring-like at all. Well, new video game experiences out this week go from sci-fi adventures to hotel renovations. Rick Damagella has the story.
Double kill, triple kill, overkill. Kill-tacular.
The new season of Halo Infinite is underway. The first-person shooter gets upgrades with new gear, weapons, a new play mode, a trio of new maps, and a 100-tier battle pass for gamers to conquer.
Attention all qualified customers of the colonies. Spacer's Choice has a very important question.
Space-based RPG The Outer Worlds has a new version available now. The Spacer's Choice Edition improves the graphics, raises the level cap, and brings all of the game's downloadable expansions into a single experience.
This room hasn't been refreshed in decades, but you are here to change that.
And for something a little more down-to-earth, okay, very down-to-earth, there is Hotel Renovator. As the name implies, players renovate hotels from the comfort of their computer. The game is available now via Steam. Requesting a late checkout in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damagella.
Boy, games have really changed since I was a kid. But you know what? You can't say much about things like Hotel Renovator or anything like that because, I mean, we had Flight Simulator. You've got Airport Tycoon and other things like that from back in the late 90s, early 2000s. So these games are just more modern versions of those. We'll be back with more right after this. We'll talk about excessive baggage. A TikTok user says Delta Airlines destroyed her suitcase.
But instead of sending her just one replacement, they sent her 13, as Jeannie Moose reports.
No wonder it's often curtains for luggage dumped, scanned, slapped on conveyors, assaulted by the searching hands of strangers. So when a woman who goes by the TikTok handle @Giselle Rochefort posted,
"Delta destroyed my suitcase,"
the best she expected from Delta was that they'd replace her banged up psychedelic suitcase, but instead she says these arrived. 13 suitcases sent by Delta from a store called Ricardo, Beverly Hills.
"I think they made a mistake."
One jokester commented, "And here's an extra 12 in case we break any more." Actually, Giselle says she found more. "I thought I was done, only to realize 3 of the large bags had small ones inside them." We reached out to Delta for an explanation, but didn't hear back. Meanwhile, Giselle, who we likewise couldn't reach, is getting bombarded with, "Can I have one? I'd love one. Can I buy one from you?"
That's why American Tourister suitcases are reinforced.
The ape from that old American Tourister commercial would have a field day with all these. For once, instead of excess baggage fees, we're talking excess baggage free. Ginny Mose, CNN, New York.
I definitely would not be complaining to Delta.
No,
I'd be like, thank you.
I wouldn't know what to do with all those suitcases, though. Where do you put them?
Well, and if they were new, I mean, hey, you got your Christmas presents covered for the year.
Yeah, a bunch of
Hey, we're going to have a
matching
destination
suitcases.
Christmas, and your gifts are arriving early, so you have something to pack in.
Goodness gracious. We'll be back with more right after this.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:26. Well, some Oklahoma medical marijuana dispensary owners are unhappy that voters rejected a proposal to legalize recreational marijuana in the state. The failed measure would have allowed anyone 21 or older to buy and possess up to 1 ounce of marijuana in Oklahoma. It would have also opened sales to out-of-state residents. Because voters said no to the idea, the state is not issuing new licenses for dispensaries. Now, Monica Dossi, an owner of a medical dispensary in Wyandotte called the Hippie Joint, says she's disappointed by the vote.
Oh, it's disappointing. We could have, with that passing, it would have drastically increased our business, obviously. Well, I think the way the bill was written, those people who have medical licenses are still going to be able to get those medical licenses. That wouldn't change.
Oklahoma's medical marijuana program was approved in 2018. Well, it's a home food delivery of a different sort. Volunteers from the Missouri Farm Bureau and local FFA chapters on Thursday donated food, pantry items, and grocery gift cards to Joplin's Ronald McDonald House of the 4 states. Farm Bureau chapters from Jasper, Newton, and Lawrence counties also gave checks. Ronald McDonald House provides temporary shelter for the families of seriously ill children. One woman who stayed at the house 15 years ago says this support can make all the difference.
It means a lot. It's just, I still get emotional to this day. It's almost been 16 years. Just thinking about that relief and that sense of peace that it brought to our family during that time. So it means a lot to us. We're very grateful.
Donations come on Thank a Farmer Day. This is the 25th year the organizations have done this. Ronald McDonald House says their donations typically provide enough food to support the residents for months. Missouri Southern hosted an art exhibit from a ceramic sculptor at an event on Thursday. Sarah Gross called in through Zoom to discuss her work. The exhibit is called Fruits of My Labor. It features works through the lens of a bountiful garden, with every piece having some association with the word labor. You can view the exhibit at MSSU's Spiva Art Gallery through March 29th.
Well, we've got ourselves a cloudy and cold start to our day. MoDOT camera 20th and range line showing the clouds, doesn't show the cold. 7th and range line shows the clouds, and then this box appears and shows the cold as well. 36 in Joplin, feels like 28 with a north breeze at 10. And again, a cold start across the area. 35 Iola, Yates Center, Fort Scott. 36 Nevada, Lamar, Carthage, Neosho and Anderson. And 39 Chatopa and Miami. As we go through our day, we are going to be cloudy. We are going to be cold. We'll make it up into the upper 30s 30s through the late morning hours. And as we head into the afternoon, we're going to switch to mostly cloudy to cloudy skies. So if you see a little more sunshine today, your highs may break into the lower 50s. Otherwise, the majority of us, we're looking at highs in the mid to upper 40s. As we head into this evening, it's going to be mostly cloudy still, dropping back down to another cold night down to 38 degrees. We're watching showers and thunderstorms coming in starting about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, really getting going about 7, 8. 54, don't forget to spring forward. Morning showers Sunday, 51. Cool on Monday, 46. Warming up a bit Tuesday into Wednesday, near 70 by Wednesday. And then we get cold again, back into the upper 40s with rain chances by next Thursday. Tanya?
Some emergency officials are upset that some new electric vehicles will not have AM radio. They say in emergencies, AM stations can provide crucial information. Liam Garrity shows us the steps some Missouri broadcasters are taking to change the tune of automakers.
AM radio can be a vital part of telling the public about emergencies. But in some new electric vehicles, it has gone away.
They're maintaining that that AM is subject to interference with the electric circuits in the car.
Mark Gordon, the former president of the Missouri Broadcasters Association, says he and a group of broadcasters just got back from speaking to Congress about it. He thinks it's an easy fix because taking the feature away could be dangerous.
If you eliminate AM, then there would be problems with people in their cars driving to be able to necessarily get all emergency alerts.
Gordon says there's no law on taking away AM radio from cars. But even if it isn't as popular as it used to be, people in Missouri still tune in.
So there's nearly 100 radio stations in the state that people still listen to today.
He says if this continues, a whole section of the population would be cut off.
Our architecture for radio is still one to many. And so in rural areas where broadband is still a challenge for some folks, radio is a primary source of news and information for them.
Gordon says talks are happening with car companies to make sure AM radio lives on.
We're not at a point yet where it's been pulled from all the manufacturers, but you know, we don't want that to happen. So we're trying to get with them and negotiate with them to make sure that doesn't happen.
Well, a FEMA spokesperson says this is a great example of why you need to have multiple ways to get weather or national alerts. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, millions of Americans rely on Medicare and Social Security, but paying for both programs remains a contentious issue on both sides of the aisle.
And we are cloudy, we are cold as we get our Friday started. We'll talk about that chilly forecast and rain chances coming up.
Well, welcome back. It's time to close out the week with our own Shannon Becker and his Big 3 stories.
Yeah, what's live and breaking this week?
Yes.
All right.
We got started early.
Yes, let's take a look at number 3 this week. Joplin News First. It's an exclusive story. We brought it to you first. Shooting south of George Washington Carver in Newton County. It happened over the weekend. One man is still recovering in a Springfield hospital. Somehow an altercation had occurred with other subjects in another vehicle along Carver Road. And it ended up just south of Elder, where a man suffered 2 or more gunshots wounds. In fact, one to his face. How insane, right? Vehicle kind of crashed off the roadway there near a creek, the Bainham Branch Creek. They have now 1 person in custody. They're still seeking 2 people related to the crime.
Were there multiple vehicles involved?
Just from what I understand, just another vehicle besides this one. That's the victim's car we just saw right there. The people on the right-hand side of your screen, they're seeking, and the gentleman on the left is arrested and charged with those crimes. Our number 2 story, Joplin News First. I cannot believe the person driving this vehicle survived. He'll survive to go to court. A felony DWI and a felony driving while revoked charge for a Carthage man, 40 years old. That right there, that used to be a Dodge Journey, if you can believe it. A single vehicle crash in Fidelity as the vehicle went off the outer road, crashing down onto the interstate, which is actually a big hill there. It crashed through some cedar trees before it landed down there on the shoulder of the interstate, right there at 44 and 49.
No
Wow.
other vehicles involved. There's just
No
one
other
over
vehicles,
there.
and only
Wow.
him. Yes, serious injuries according to Missouri State Highway
Very
Patrol.
lucky man, yeah.
You can see here that's the hill that it came down off of, obviously very fast as well. Our number one story. Somber week for many of us, of course, those of us who know people at the Joplin Police Department. Flags are flown half-staff until March 15th, according to Mayor Doug Lawson of the city of Joplin. On Wednesday, they had a service honoring Corporal Ben Cooper. It was standing room only, and we expect also the same coming up tomorrow, Saturday at 10 a.m. There'll be a service remembering Officer Jake Reed at the Joplin Public Safety Training Center. Officer Reed, Jake donated his organs to numerous people. They'll be sharing those stories tomorrow. I know it's open to the public. Everyone welcome to attend at the Joplin Public Safety Training Center on the south side of the airport in Joplin.
Very nice service.
Yeah. And then our bonus story, let's get a little bit more lighthearted. One of my favorite places to visit, and it's a little series I do. It's like a place you should visit. Well, there it is.
And eventually it'll be warm enough to do stuff
Yeah,
like
well,
this.
it was great last weekend. That is the Tanyard Creek Nature Trail. It's in Bella Vista, just about 40 minutes south of town. It's the spillway off of Lake Windsor, and it is amazing. It's fun. The kids love it. It's less than a half mile, but you got to do a little bit of walking. It's not wheelchair friendly for sure, but you don't want to be wearing no dress shoes either. You know, you got to be serious about it.
What's the easiest way to get there?
Oh, you just go. It's 49, and then at 49 it turns into the old 71. You know, I think that's what they call it, or Business 49. Not sure. That's Lake Windsor there. It's the main exit in Bella Vista, Lancaster Boulevard, which is right there with the City Hall. Okay. You can almost see it from the highway, and it is amazing. You have to check it out. It's free, and it's the city of Bella Vista. That's our bonus story of the week.
All right. Well, you're our bonus of the week.
Oh, you're
Get
too
to
nice.
have you every Friday.
You're too nice.
Yeah.
You have a good weekend.
You too.
All right.
All right. Might have to check that out. It's a little cold though.
No, it's worth it.
All right. Thank you so much, and we will be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We are watching some showers that'll begin developing early tomorrow morning and be scattered in southeast Kansas. By about 7, 8 o'clock, we'll see more showers, maybe a rumble of thunder or two start to roll across the area. There'll be brief pauses in activity before it redevelops, and we see additional showers and maybe a rumble of thunder or two across the area. And we've got better chances for maybe a stray storm or two down to our south. And there could be a strong storm or two with maybe some small hail, gusty winds, but that's fairly isolated, and anything that does develop will move out of here pretty quickly. And then we'll see a stray shower or two as we head into the very early morning hours of our Sunday before that all gets out of here. And speaking of Sunday, we have to spring forward. Not our favorite thing to do, but you got to turn your clocks ahead. Here, you got to set them ahead by about an hour. We're looking at a later sunrise and a later sunset, though, so we'll get a little more daylight if we can get through those clouds, which, by the way, we're dealing with right now. We are sitting at 36 in Joplin, feels like 28 out there. Cold across the area. We're looking at 35 Fort Scott, 39 Miami, 36 in Neosho as we get our day started. Cold, cloudy, into the upper 30s by late morning. We're looking at highs on average, pushing a mid to upper 40s under mostly cloudy skies. Some of us may get into the lower 50s, and then tonight another cold one, mostly cloudy, dropping back down to 38. That is a check of your forecast. Now here's Tanya Bach with Consumer Watch.
All right, well, General Motors is offering buyouts to most salaried workers and some executives. The move comes as the company tries to bring down costs and make the transition to electric vehicles. GM intends to cut costs by $2 billion by the end of next year. And of GM's 58,000 salaried workers in the U.S., the buyout offer will be extended to white-collar workers who've been with the company at least 5 years and executives who've worked at least 2. Pilots for American Airlines are being offered a raise and better retirement benefits. That's the word from the airline's CEO, who says he will match a recently approved contract Delta gave its pilots. The 4-year deal will eventually give senior captains on planes like the Boeing 777 about $600,000 a year in salary and retirement plan contributions. Yesterday, the Allied Pilots Association says its board voted unanimously to open a strike center and ask members about authorizing a walkout. And an important recall to tell you about: more than 3 million Calico Critters animal figures and sets sold with a bottle and pacifier are being recalled because they could cause children to choke. There have been at least 3 incidents, including 2 children who've died. Parents are urged to take the toys away from their kids immediately Contact Everlasting Play for information on how to get a free replacement. President Joe Biden unveils his administration's budget proposal in the swing state of Pennsylvania. The plan addresses key priorities of his administration like child care, housing, and climate, and funding for retirement, health care, and disability programs. But those programs, like Medicare and Social Security, have posed problems for the federal government. Mike Valerio has the details on the long-standing retirement row.
Entitlements have long been a hot-button issue.
People felt like it was the third rail of American politics.
And solutions to funding them still seem out of reach.
I will put Medicare and Social Security in a lockbox.
Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security account for more than a third of the federal budget and provide a critical safety net for tens of millions of Americans, especially retirees. But as the number of people relying on those programs grows, the money is running out.
There's a commitment we have to people to age with dignity, but there's an awful lot of abuse and waste that goes on.
The White House hopes to address the crisis in President Biden's 2024 budget proposal.
I will protect Social Security and Medicare without any change.
The document includes a plan to fund a key piece of Medicare through the 2050s by raising taxes on Americans making $400,000 or more a year and allowing Medicare more leeway in negotiating drug prices.
My budget will not cut benefits, and it will definitely won't sunset programs.
The White House says the budget likewise includes provisions to shore up Social Security and lower Medicaid spending, while also expanding health care access. But with Republicans in control of the House, the plan will be dead on arrival when it reaches Capitol Hill, though GOP leadership insists
there is no agenda on the part of Senate Republicans to revisit Medicare or Social Security. Period.
Just how they plan to tackle the issue remains in question as congressional Republicans prepare their own budget expected in the spring. I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
We'll be right back with more after this, but first let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. Tiger Prep Academy students at Columbia Elementary in Carthage held their annual Kids Rodeo.
There were 4 rotations of activities. There's barrel racing on stick horses, feeding cows, roping a calf with hula hoops, and a cowboy boot and shirt relay.
KOAM photojournalist Ty Perks visited the rodeo to get in on the fun.
We set up a rodeo day, and all the Tiger Prep kids get together and we kind of simulate a rodeo and we eat snacks together, and then we just do fun activities for the letter R.
Run, Kelly, run!
So we have found, this is Carthage's 4th year of doing this. It's a transitional kindergarten. And we found if we do fun activities for each letter of the alphabet, it helps the kids remember the letter and make learning fun. I was thinking today, I've had kids from 3 years ago, and they'll say things like, remember when we did the rodeo for R? And they're in 2nd grade by now, and that they still remember the fun things we do at school. So since we're their first experience with education, we try to make it fun, let them know that school is a fun place. We do fun things to help them learn. So the kids have a blast. They love our field trips. Every time we go, they're happy, excited. It's a fun day.
All right, so the kids, of course, didn't go hungry either. Before the racing, they were treated to a cowboy lunch of hot dogs, chips, cookies, and a drink. So an excellent time all around. So we're going to break down our forecast over the next few days because it's not really going to do a lot of warming, but, it is what it is. We've got showers by 6 o'clock. They're going to be scattered across portions of southeast Kansas. And as we go through the morning, by about 7, 8, they really start to pick up in coverage. More showers out there, maybe a rumble of thunder or two as well. And you see there's little pauses, and then we get additional development almost right over the same areas where we could see some additional showers and maybe another rumble of thunder or two as we head into Saturday early evening, late afternoon, whichever you want to call it. We'll continue to see a few of those showers and maybe some thunderstorms developing in our southern counties. And then this activity kicks out of here by Saturday evening and into the nighttime hours by about 8 o'clock. Then we could see a few stray showers very early Sunday morning, but that's going to be very limited, and they should be out of here before it's time to really get anything done across the area. And speaking of Sunday, as we've been reminding you, time to spring forward. Set your clocks ahead by 1 hour, either before you go to bed on Sunday, or if you don't have any early obligations on Sunday, you can do it as soon as you wake up. Or option 3, if you're a night owl and you're up at 2 a.m., you can spring forward then. And, of course, remember, too, to change the batteries in your smoke detectors. Firefighters recommend this every time the time changes. Change those batteries. Sun will rise a little bit later in the day. However, it will set later in the day as well. So if we can get some sunshine here in the 4 states sometime soon, we'll be able to enjoy more daylight. Unfortunately, not a lot of sunshine today. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline, it is cloudy, it is cold. There's those clouds just socked in around the area. 36 in Joplin, feeling like 28 with a north breeze at about 10 miles an hour. As we look around the region, cold. Look at the north wind arrows here. It's not a gusty wind, but it's cold air nonetheless. 35, Iola, Fort Scott. 36, Nevada, Lamar, Carthage, Neosho. 35 in Pittsburgh, and 39 in Miami. As we get our day started, we are cloudy. We are cold. Don't really have to tell you much about that. It's just going to be unpleasant. It's going to be dreary. It's going to be very winter-like out there. We'll make it back up into the upper 30s by late morning. And then as we head into the afternoon, it's where it gets a little interesting. We're expecting mostly cloudy to cloudy skies. So the majority of us will see highs in the mid to upper 40s. However, a few of you may see a little more sunshine than the rest of us do. And if you do, you could see your highs push into the lower 50s by chance. Not that that makes a huge difference, but it could be a bit warmer. We're all mostly cloudy tonight, and we'll drop back down to a cold 38 degrees. So again, not very spring-like, but technically we're still in winter for the next 9 days. As we head into the week ahead, it is not that great, unfortunately. There's 2 good days, and that's really about it. 54 tomorrow, 51 on Sunday, down to 29. Cold on Monday, 46 degrees, down to 26 for the overnight low. 54 Tuesday. Partly cloudy, a little bit warmer, 67 on Wednesday, and a bit breezy. It's near 70, a few more clouds though. And then look at Thursday, 48 for the high with rain chances. And those rain chances overnight when we drop to about freezing could turn into a wintry mix early Friday morning. So your St. Patrick's Day not only could be a little messy, it's also going to be quite cold. Look at that, only a high of 41 degrees. If you're doing anything that evening, you better bundle up, or maybe just plan to be indoors wherever you're going, because we're dropping back down to 28 degrees. And then look at this, 44 next Saturday, 23 to start off the first day of spring. And our first day of spring high, yeah, it's going to be partly cloudy. Yeah, we'll see the sunshine. It's only 42 degrees, so not very spring-like at all. But worry not, warmer weather will eventually get here to the 4 states, and then we can complain about how hot it is. We'll be back with more right after this. All right, we're looking at highs yet again, pushing mid to upper 40s. Some of us that see a little more sunshine this afternoon could make it into the lower 50s. We are mostly cloudy to just plain old cloudy. We'll be mostly cloudy as we head through our evening, dropping back down to 38 by 10, and that's about where we're going to hang out, is around 38 for our low. We have showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, 54. Do not forget to spring forward. We are sitting in the lower 50s for Sunday, colder on Monday at 46, warmer Tuesday and Wednesday, and then cold again by Thursday with more rain chances.
Well, a lot of us have trouble getting up on Friday after a long week.
That's very true. So here's an idea to get you moving. The thunderous sound of bagpipes.
All right, today is International Bagpipe Day, observed every year on March 10th. It's a celebration of this unique instrument and a chance to explore its diversity and history.
While most people associate bagpipes with kilted Scotsmen, the instrument is played all over the world. The earliest bagpipes likely date back to ancient Rome and even Egypt.
Bagpipes are often played at funerals or somber occasions, but around this time of year you can also hear them at parades and Irish pubs for St. Patrick's Day.
Can't go wrong with some good bagpipe music. And you're right. I mean, they're very good at being very somber, very emotional, but they can also be very uplifting, very powerful,
And
too.
why not have bagpipes for Chris's birthday?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to have to learn how to play now that I know this. So I don't know how I'm going to figure it out, but I'll figure
You
it out.
share a day with National Bagpipe Day.
I think my wife probably thinks I am a bagpipe. Long-winded, just keep
It does
going
take a
and
lot of
going.
wind.
Just
yeah.
drone on, just drone on. Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We're back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.